Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%. But I did mention that your father had transitioned. Can you share with the audience what age were you when your father was no longer around?
So I was 2 years old. He transitioned back in June 1992.
Okay. Wow. So you really didn't have an opportunity to really get to know him then?
No, not at all.
Now, so with that experience, how would you say it has it had an effect on you in any way, or you just got to the point where you just learned to live without it, or how had that affected you in any way?
It was a growing pain to have to accept the fact that I didn't have the opportunity to have him in my life, not even for 1 second of a memory. So it was something that I always longed for. Yeah, it was hard. It was tough.
Okay.
I could just, yeah, that's it.
Are you uncomfortable talking about it?
No, I'm good. I'm just thinking.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things that we have pointed out here that, and I shared this with on one of my other broadcasts, that really, to tell you the truth, children, even like I said, I don't know no child, especially sons who do not have a yearning for their father, who does not want, even if they're like in your case, you didn't know him, you didn't get a chance to have that experience with them, and no doubt you yearn it, I'm sure, through your life. Do you think about him even now? Do you ever think about him?
Yeah, that's what I was pretty much going to elaborate on, but I was getting a little emotional just to think about it. The main thing that like really affects me when it comes to my father is thinking and also seeing relationships with other guys and their fathers, like the disconnects or sometimes the connections. Like I'd be like, dang man, I wonder how things would have been if my dad would have been here. Would I have needed to be the jail piece to keep me and my dad relationship strong, or will we have a great relationship? And why don't other guys have a nice relationship with their father? So I mean, that was like the only thing that really affected me, just wanting to experience a memory, or even know how things would be as far as us being able to get along. So
man, that's an awesome experience. So well, now, even though you didn't have your father, there was a young man that was in your life that you spent a lot of time with. And of course, that was my father, your grandfather. So can you share with the audience what that experience was like growing up with him, and how would you say he has been an impact in your life?
My grandfather is great, man. I love my grandfather. He's so funny. Actually, it was a funny experience. Well, because he was, everybody knew him as a pastor, so he would like always use funny phrases in that pastor way to like get people's attention and then draw them into Christ. So he was funny. I was like, man, you're such an advocate for God, like the way he thinks and gets through life. But growing up with my grandfather, it was a good experience because he taught me how to be time punctual, how to conduct myself as a man.
Right. Was it difficult though? Because especially dealing with the age difference. What was some of your challenges though with them? Well, it's just the fact that having a man in your life, a father figure in your life, that's just something that you yearn for, you long for, and you appreciate it.
Yeah, I saw Grandpa as a grandfather, so it wasn't really difficult. He was
okay.
He was there like clutch. Whatever I needed, I could get it through him. And with his teaching, he pretty much taught me how to be a man at a young age. So everything that I've learned from him, I was basically doing it off of independence that he was teaching, and him just already having that manly experience to instill in me. The difficult thing, I have to answer that question. The difficult thing about him, though, it was hard to learn a lesson because he didn't really verbally teach it. He would just show you.
Right.
You have to catch on and pretty much that was like the hardest part, because I can remember times where I was like counting on Grandpa to come through. I was like, "Hey, Grandpa, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this like this," and I know he got me because that's just the type of relationship we built. I got him, he got me, but if I didn't do something that he was also looking for me to do, it didn't come out right. So that was the only difficult thing, like trying to get him to be like, "Man, can you explain why we went that route? Like we went come back to the same, but yeah."
I guess it sounds like he allowed you to learn on your own, but yet he kept a watchful eye on you.
Right.
Even if you stumbled and fell, he was there to pick you up and to dust you off and give you the instructions you need, or those words of correction, and then let you go on about your business again, huh?
Yeah. Like, and to piggyback on that, like prime example of how difficult he was, and the reason why I said the reason why I give that one time I cut grass with my grandfather. One time we went to this particular yard, and they had a dog in the yard. The dog was going crazy. I never went to this yard with him to cut the yard, but he already been there before. He knows the dog. I'm like, "Grandpa, we supposed to chain him up? They gonna come outside, take the dog in the house?" He was like, "No, you all right, just go ahead." So I said, "Well, do he bite?" He's like, "Do he got teeth?" I was like, "All right, man. You go cutting this yard by yourself, because I'm about to go sit in this truck." So, it was things like that where I'm like, "Man, how do I get this in?" So like I said, he was really good at, having a way of teaching you. So I learned not to fear, because that counsel out fear. Okay, either I'm gonna do it and make this money for this yard, or I'm just gonna be fearful. So that was Grandpa,
So let me ask this question. I don't know. It's not to be tricky anything, but was having him around fill the void of your father? Did it relieve you of thinking about your father that much? What was that like? What was that experience like?
No, not really, because like I said, I saw Grandpa as my grandfather. I knew that I needed my father from the jump, and for whatever reason, like, I just really wanted to have him in my life. I mean, there were times where it was good having Grandpa around.
Right.
As far as, having that as a supplement, it didn't help at all.
Wow.